Hello students, today we are going to study Act 4 Scene 1 The Tempest, which is there in class 11th and 12th. Mostly it will be taught in class 12th. So let's begin with this scene. This scene occurs before Prospero's cell, where Prospero, Ferdinand and Miranda are there. So Prospero speaks, "If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here a thread of mine own life, or that for which I live. Once again I tender to thy hand all thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here, afore heaven, I ratify this my rich gift. O Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast her of. For thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her." So here Prospero speaks to Ferdinand that if I have severely, austerely means severely or harshly punished you, then for that I want to make an amendment. Amendment means I want to pay you back in the exchange of the harsh punishment that I have given you. And that is my most, you can say, dear daughter, I hand over to you. She is my, you can say, my aim of life, for which I have been living till now, and still I again give her to you. All your vexations means all your sufferings that you have been undergoing here on this island were actually the trials that I had taken from you in order to test you that how truly you love her. And you have passed that test, and before heaven, that means before the Almighty God, I ratify, that means I give you this precious gift of mine to you. O Ferdinand, do not smile on me, because the thing is that I cannot praise much more. I do not have much more words to praise my daughter. Whatever I am praising about her are less words as compared to her virtuous deeds. For you will yourself find that she is more precious and more a good a person than whatever I have appreciated or I have praised about her. Ferdinand, I do believe it against an oracle. Ferdinand says, I always believe it. Even if Sir Oracle comes and says that no, these praises are false, I will not believe it. Because I believe in you, whatever you have told about your daughter. Oracle, you people must have studied in Merchant of Venice. It is the voice of God which is spoken through the mouth of priests and priestesses, and whatever it says is always true. Prospero, then as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter, sit then, and talk with her, she is thine own. What Ariel, my industrious servant Ariel. Then he says, okay, then my daughter is as a precious gift to you, which I have given to you. You can sit with her here and have a talk with her. And now she is your own possession. Then he calls out Ariel and says that, Ariel, where is my hard-working servant Ariel? Immediately Ariel appears on the scene. Ariel, what would my potent master? Here I am. Ariel says, what are your orders, my powerful master? I am here and I am ready to take your orders. Prospero, thou and thy meaner fellows your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in such another trick. Go bring the rabble over whom I give thee power here to this place, incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me. So Prospero says, I am very happy that you and your company, that means the other spirits along with you, have performed very well the last task. And now I want to assign you another task, and that is to bring the rabble. Rabble means the crowd of all the spirits that are under you, above which you have the power, to bring them all here and do it as quick as possible, because I have promised these young couple, Ferdinand and Miranda, that I will show them a magical show of spirits, an illusion. So this promise I have to keep. So do as quick as possible. Ariel, presently. Ariel says, may I go at once? Prospero, A, with a twink. Prospero says, within the blinking of the eye, please go and bring them all here. Ariel, before you can, come and go and breathe twice and cry so. Each one tripping on his toe will be there with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No? Ariel says, before you say come and go, and before you take your breath twice, and before you give another order, before that I will be present with all of the spirits over here. Then he assures and tries to ask Prospero that, do you love me, my master? Don't you? Prospero, dearly. Prospero says, dearly, now come, my Ariel, bring a corollary. Rather than want a spirit, appear and pertly, no tongue, all eyes be silent. Prospero says, I love you very much, my Ariel. Now come, my dear Ariel, and bring here more spirits, whatever is possible under your orders, to bring them as quick as possible. Let them appear here quickly. Be silent and just speak with your eyes. Then music, soft music is, you can say, ringing behind. Enter Iris. Iris, Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich lias of wheat, rye, barley, birches, oats, and peas, the turfy mountains, where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stover, them to keep, thy banks with pond and twilled brims, which spongy Ariel at thy hest betrims, to make cold nymphs chaste crowns, and thy brown broom grooves, whose shadow the dismissed bachelor loves, being last lawn, thy pole clipped vineyard, and thy sea merge, sterile and rocky hard, where thou dost thyself dost air the queen, O thee the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grassy plot, in this very place, to come and spot her peacocks fly amain, approach rich Iris here to entertain. Now here Iris, one of the spirits, is calling Ceres. Ceres is another spirit, and then she praises Ceres. How? She says that Ceres, the most gracious goddess of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, peas, of all these fields where all such crops are grown, you are the goddess of all such fields. And even the turf-covered mountains. Turf-covered mountains means having small grasses on the mountain tops where the sheep, they keep on grazing. Then flat meadows covered with fodder for the cattle. You are even the queen of all those meadows where lush green grass is grown to act as a fodder for the cattle to come and graze over there. River banks overgrown with marsh marigolds and reeds, which wet April adorns, at your command to furnish garlands for virgin nymphs. Now she also says that you are also the goddess of the river banks, where across the banks the marigold flowers are they bloom, and on your order April adorn. Now nymphs are actually the spirits that govern all the lands, the seas, the trees, the clouds. So here Iris is praising Ceres that because of you only, on your orders, the April season picks up all those marigolds and creates a garland in order to adorn the nymphs. And the clumps of broom whose shadows the rejected lover seeks. Now clumps of brooms may, here it is said of yellow flowered shrub. They are actually a group of shrubs which are yellow flowered, and these are actually the symbol of deserted love. When a lover remembers and sees that he has been deserted by his own lover, then he picks up those shrubs, which is a symbol of deserted love. With the vineyards, vines clinging to poles, and the sea beach barren and hard as rock, where you go to take the air. So she also says that you are the goddess of vineyards, the vines which are clinging to the poles and the sea beach, the hard rocky places. You belong to all of them, and here you go to these places in order to take fresh air. Then she says the queen of the sky, that is Juno, who is the wife of Jupiter, has ordered us to go to a place where she is going to. So she has ordered that all of us should leave our work. So you also leave all these things and come with me to these meadows, to the grassy lawn, in order to play with her divine self. Her peacocks are carrying her as fast as possible to this place. So be aware that you have to leave all your tasks right now and come with me and be present before our queen Juno. Enter Ceres. Now Ceres, when she hears that Iris is calling her, so Ceres enters. Ceres says, "Hail, many-colored messenger, that never dost disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy saffron wings upon my flowers diffusest honey drops, refreshing showers, and with each end of thy blue bow dost crown my bosky acres and my unshrubed down. Rich scarf to my proud earth, why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short grassed green?" Ceres says hail. Hail means welcome or a good greeting to somebody. So she says, "Hail Iris, you are a multicolored messenger of the queen Juno, who is the wife of Jupiter." And this Juno, that is the wife of Jupiter, she with her orange colored wings, then she says that you, that means Iris, with your orange colored wings, you put some dew drops over the color drop of honey on my flowers. That means you put the orange color on the flowers as if it seems to be honey in the form of refreshing showers. And with each end of your blue rainbow, you cover my green fields and my bare plains like a rich scarf that covers the entire land. So it's in a way she is praising Iris that you have got such multicolored wings that with your orange colored wings you try to drop the honey like color on the flowers of my fields, as well as with your blue colored wings you seem to cover the entire land which I occupy, just as if you are covering them with some scarf. Then she asks that why has Queen Juno called us here? What is the main purpose of calling us here over this grassy lawn? Iris, a contract of true love to celebrate and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers. Iris says that she has called us here because there are a young couple who are about to get betrothed, and so she has called us so that we can give blessings to them and give them some gift on the happy lovers. Ceres, tell me, heavenly bow, if Venus or her son, as thou dost know, do not attend the queen, since they did not plot the means that dusky dis my daughter got, her and her blind boy's scandaled company, I have forsworn. Ceres says, I am ready to come, but first of all tell me something, that is Venus and her son also coming to that occasion? Because then if they are coming, then I will not attend that occasion, because Cupid, the son of Venus, had abducted my daughter Proserpina and had taken her to the dark planet Pluto. And so I will not be able to see them, because I do not wish to see such people who have abducted my daughter Proserpina. So I have taken a vow, that means I have taken an oath, that I will avoid visiting such villainous people. Iris, of her society be not afraid. I met her deity cutting the clouds towards Paphos, and her son dove drawn with her. Here thought they to have done some wanton charm upon this man, and made whose vows are that no bed right shall be paid, ere Hymen's torch be lighted but vain. Mars' hot minion is returned again. her waspish-headed son, has broken his arrows, swears he will shoot no more but play with sparrows, and be a boy right out. Iris says you do not have to be afraid of their company because I have seen that Venus and her son were flying towards the Paphos over the clouds in a chariot which was drawn by the doves. And they performed some magic charm on this man and maid, that means Ferdinand and Miranda, but they were unable to make them fall in love in such a way that the chastity of Miranda was not harmed. And this because they have now taken an oath that they will not have any physical union before their marriage. And because of this, Cupid has become so much angry that he has broken off all his arrows, and he has taken a vow that now he will never shoot the arrows in order to make people fall in love in such a way that they can have a physical reunion before the marriage. And now he has taken an oath that I will now not shoot any arrows, but I will play with sparrows and be a small child like in every activity. While Venus, who is the darling of Mars, the god of war, has gone back. So that means Venus is a wife of Mars. Ceres, highest queen of estate, great Juno comes, I know her by her gait. Now then Ceres says that I think that Juno, the queen, the wife of Jupiter, is now coming towards us because I can make it out by the way of her walking. Then Juno enters. Juno, how does my bounteous sister go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be and honored in their issue? Juno says, how are my gorgeous sisters and my generous sisters? Let us go to that occasion where both the young couple are waiting to take blessings from us. Let us bless them that they may have a prosperous life and plus they may have children. Then a song is sung by Juno, honor, riches, marriage, blessing, long continuance and increasing, hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings upon you. So she is blessing that you may have honor, riches, everything in your marriage, and you may have long life and much happiness than you have expected. And every hour should be gone with joy only. And so Juno also says in the last line of the song that Juno, being the queen, is showering blessings on both of you. Ceres, earth's increase, poison plenty, barns and garners never empty, vines and clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly burden bowing, spring come to you at the farthest in the very end of harvest. Scarcity and want shall shun you, Ceres' blessing so is on you. Ceres also sings. She sings that may you be blessed with abundant crops and there should not be any, you can say, lack of cereals and this food grains in your house. And may your vines be may your vines be always cluttered with grapes in it. The plants should be bearing fruits in such a way that they should fall down with the weight of those fruits. And may spring come to you at the latest by the very end of the harvest time. May scarcity and want never come to you. That means you may never be suffering with scarcity of food, money or anything else. And then last line she says again that Ceres also showers blessings on you. This is a most majestic vision and harmoniously, charmingly may I be bold to think these spirits. Ferdinand is very happy to see such illusions of those spirits singing and dancing in front of them. He says, this is the most splendid illusion that I have ever seen in my life. May I be so bold as to ask whether the singers are the spirits, prosperous spirits, which by mine art have come from their confines called to enact my present fancies. Prospero says, yes, these are the spirits and by my orders only they have come out of their comfort zone and they have come here in order to act according to my orders. Ferdinand, let me live here ever. So rare a wondered father, and a wise makes this place paradise. Ferdinand says, let me live here forever, because it's such a beautiful vision, and I can never expect such a wise and a wonderful father-in-law as you are, that you have made this simple place a paradise. That means a heaven like. Juno and Ceres whisper and send Iris on employment. Now, while they were talking to each other, Ferdinand and Prospero, Juno and Ceres were talking to each other, and then they sent Iris on some errand. Prospero, sweet, now silence. Juno and Ceres whisper seriously, there is something else to do. Hush and be mute, or else our spell is marred. Then Prospero, he forbids Ferdinand from talking. He says, let us not talk, because if we talk, then we are seeing that Juno and Ceres are talking to each other. There must be something serious, and so we may not talk. Otherwise, if by our talk all these illusions will disappear, they will vanish away. Iris, you nymphs called naiads of the wandering brooks, with your sedged crowns and ever harmless looks, leave your crisp channels, and on this green land answer your summons. Juno does command, come temperate nymphs, and help to celebrate. A contract of true love be not too late. So Iris was sent on an errand to call the naiads. Naiads are those, you can say, sweet spirits who are so beautiful that they govern the rivers and the seas. So those spirits were quite beautiful, and Ceres had come in order to call those nymphs who lived on the rivers and the seas. So he says that you nymphs named naiads of the flowing streams, with your garlands woven from reeds and unfailing, you look so innocent with your beauteous appearance that everybody would praise you by looking at your grace. Please leave your rippling streams for some time and come out of your zones, because Juno has asked you to come and visit her. Come, quiet nymphs, and help to celebrate the marriage of the young couples. Enter certain nymphs. You sunburnt sickle men of August weary, come hither from the furrow and be merry. Make holiday you your rye straw hats put on, and these fresh nymphs encounter everyone in country footing. Now, as soon as the nymphs certain nymphs they enter, then Iris says that you are sunburnt reapers. You are tired of the August heat. Come here from the ploughed fields and be happy. Rejoice and put on the hats of straws on your head, and join these young nymphs which are along with us and have enjoyment in this function. So that means when these nymphs are appearing, then Iris praises them that you are so beautiful, so gentle, and you are the sunburnt reapers, and you have been very much tired of the August heat. So let's relax, let's rejoice, put on the hat of the rye straws and enjoy with us. Enter certain reapers properly habited. They join with nymphs in a graceful dance towards the end, whereof Prospero starts suddenly and speaks, after which to a strange hollow and confused noise they heavily vanish. So on the request of Iris, many reapers come. That means the nymph reapers, they come, they enjoy, they join with the other nymphs, they all show a graceful dance, but immediately Prospero starts speaking, and due to his speaking, all this illusion vanishes off just in a second. Prospero sighed, I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. To the spirits, well done, avoid no more. Now Prospero, he is speaking to himself that, oh, I have forgotten that how Caliban and his associates Stefano and Trinculo have plotted to kill me. So I have forgotten this nearly, and now they are on this moment that they are about to come and kill me. Then he says to the spirits that you all have done very well, and now do not need your help anymore. You can